It is 10:55 a.m. on Friday, September 27th. This is gonna be a fun one. Let's go. Okay, while it's fresh on my mind, last 3 nights I've had at least 2 of my shooter bucks out in my food plots, all about an hour before dark. So I am going up and gonna attempt this afternoon hunt. Hopefully I'm able to sneak in from where my trail camera is kind of showing me. They're kind of bedding in 2 different spots, it looks like. They're coming from the north and they're coming from the south. My stand is on the south edge, and today we have a north wind, and it's a pretty stiff north wind at that. It's supposed to be blowing about 15 miles per hour consistently, and then gusts up to 23 and 24. It's not supposed to be raining. It is supposed to be cloudy, so we're gonna get dark a little bit sooner. Tons of variables. I am very interested to see how this all plays out today. You know, the wind speed has almost doubled. It's been out of the north the last couple days, but it has definitely picked up. So I do like that because it's on a little bit of a hill, so I do know that my thermals will slide down the hill, but the wind will kind of help direct everything, and it's supposed to stay pretty consistent just about to dark. So hopefully that is to my advantage. I'd say my odds go way up of them not winding me or anything crazy if they're bedded north of my stand. The last 3 or 4 nights, I've been seeing anywhere from 6 to 9 different bucks on this food plot at once in the last hour of daylight. So that's a lot of eyes and a lot more noses to try to fool and trick. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm already a nervous wreck. It's kind of the fun part though, really, building that moment up to it. You know, it's you play it through again and again and again and again in your head, and it's obviously never gonna unfold the way that you think it is. I just hope that all of my hard work and practicing my bow, obviously the food plots that we planted this year and worked our butts off to keep them alive, battling army worms, just gives a testimony to hopefully what can be if you're willing to work hard. Until now, I'm just driving and playing scenarios in my head, trying to make sure I got all my ducks in a row, so when the moment of truth comes, hopefully I'm ready. You excited? Are we gonna get him tonight? I hope so. Finally made it to camp. Getting a little bit unloaded here, get all situated, and I'm gonna try to be leaving for the stand at about 3:30. Take my sweet time, and I want to hopefully be set up by 4. Get some practice shots in here in just a little bit. Hopefully we can see something tonight, and hopefully if I do see something, one of my 3 shooters, rather it be wonky, tall boy, or heartstopper, hopefully I can capitalize on one of them. I think if I had to put them in order, it's hard to tell. Heartstopper is definitely, he's getting shot if he steps out. Tall boy, I think he's 4.5, but he's impressive, and he'll rank up there as one of my biggest bow deer, scoreable wise, if I get a chance at him. And then wonky, I'm totally on the fence with him because I think he was 4.5 last year, so I think he's a 5.5-year-old this year, but he's got that wonky side, and I just think that if he makes it one more year, he could be a total stud next year. But who knows? That could all go out the window when I see him in person. I know he's a big deer, huge body. I'm so excited. So I got to get a couple more things ready to go, get my camo on, and then we'll be hitting the woods here before too much longer. Yard practice. I got 2 of them in there. One was a little bit high. 2 of them in there though, so that's good. All right, it's 3:25. I'm right on schedule. I am gonna sneak in here nice and slow. I got a good north breeze, and we're gonna see if we can make something happen tonight. Officially 4:05. I got in the stand at 3:42, and at 3:46 there was a doe and a fawn that already made their way into the food plot right behind me. I was literally taking my quiver off my bow, and they came in and started eating all set up. I'll take that as a good sign that I made it in undetected. I just hope that some of the bugs that I'm after are on the same side and they come over this way. The wind is blowing, but not quite as hard as I thought it would be. That's not to say that it won't keep picking up. I think if I had to pick one of them, I really want to get Heartstopper. I think he's one that's pretty special. I had him last year. That we would have loved to connect with him at 4.5. And he had a really nice kicker off his G2, and this year he does not have that, but he grew at 9th point. I see him. My heart actually might stop, so let's see how it goes. 6:45, 6:50. And he worked his way over my cover branch. I got great footage of him. He just took his time. And I put an arrow right through him. Clean past her. I just hoped like crazy. I had a good. I hope it was as good as I thought it was. Oh, please, Lord. Okay, we're gonna settle in. So he went into an island. So fingers crossed. He doesn't know what happened and he goes in there. But we're gonna have to find out. I gotta check this footage out and see what we're dealing with here. The camera had a great view of him, but I did not, so it took me a long time to get him into my shooting lane. And then one of my point of view cameras was kind of in my way for the shot, so I was trying to push it out of the way, and he snapped his neck around and he heard it, but he wasn't too phased. But oh my gosh, what a giant. Alright, I am where I shot the deer. Looks like I got part of a lung. Really light pink. Looks like part of a lung on this brassica leaf here. So that's a good sign. So we're gonna see. Here's my arrow. I'm just gonna stand it up and investigate it. Ooh, I think I'm back further than I thought. It's looking like definitely got some stomach in there. I still think it's a dead deer, but we're gonna have to give this one some serious time. For now, I'm sticking my arrow in the ground. I'll turn off my knock. We're gonna get back to camp and give this some time. Well, the good news is we are finding some blood. I just tracked it through this little section of hayfield. It's only been about 45 yards, but I haven't had too hard of a time yet. It's pretty bright. I think I did clip a lung. We'll see. See if we can find some more in here. It's our first streak of pretty good blood. Pretty bright. To be honest, I thought he went this way, so he still might have. We are out here tracking now. It has been 4 hours. I'm about 60 yards on this trail. Just found my first little good spray of blood. I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully this deer ain't too far. Not long after this, the blood really started thinning out, probably about 25 yards further. So I elected to back out and go ahead and call a dog to try to track the deer in the morning. Well, it is the next morning. I called in, same guy who tracked my deer last year. Didn't have any luck then, but again, I had a really high and bad shot. I feel a lot more confident with this shot, hoping that the dog's able to find the trail. He already found another drop of blood in the middle of this hayfield, further than I was able to, so I'm hoping that he opens up a little bit and they're able to take me to it. The best streak of blood's coming up here on the right. This right here is about where I lost him in sight. Well, right here, I took a turn, is where I found blood into here. And it goes in there, and he takes a hard left, maybe 10 yards in. I couldn't believe it either, man. For whatever reason, they like going back over there. Okay, good deal. Well, we have found one of his bedding spots, all thanks to Clyde, the wonderful tracking dog. I don't know how long he bed here, but you can see the little amount of blood that is there. So honestly, it's hard to say exactly how long he bed here. I would like to think not very long with the amount of blood, but with how little blood he has lost and how far we've come, probably come about 150, 175 yards so far. Who knows? Maybe he laid there for half hour or more. It's really hard to tell. All I know is he's not in this bed. And Clyde's on the trail, hopefully. It's been a tough one. I'm really praying for the miracle find here. Well, this sucks. We tracked the deer, found what we thought was his first bed about 300 yards away, all for a spot of blood, maybe the size of a $50. We're kind of dumbfounded. I mean, you saw the hit for yourself. Really thought that would have been some pumping of some sort of blood, seeing some blood, you know. I followed it myself last night for about 70, 75 yards, and I stopped because I learned last year that if you go further and you step in the deer's injured print and you start tracking his scent all through the woods, it can mess the dog up. So I stopped. I texted the dog tracker. He met me the following morning, so right when we started, it had been 12 hours since the deer had been shot, and he found some blood pretty quickly in the hayfield where I couldn't, and then across the woods. But it was very, very splotchy, and when I say splotchy, I mean like spaced out. We'd find a drip or two on a leaf, and then you'd go 35, 40 yards and you'd find maybe another drip, and it would take a long time for him to find it. And unfortunately, that the dog, you know how they track the scent that the deer put out whenever they're really injured, and he had a hard time putting out that. I guess the deer didn't appear to be as hurt as much, which blows my mind, but the dog had a hard time following the scent. But he did end up finding the trail, and we followed it for, like I said, about 300 yards where we found its first bed. And then so many questions began from there. We were asking, like, okay, so it looked like he bedded facing this way. Did he track back? Did he keep going? I actually have a trail camera that we kind of thought maybe he was on, but I don't have my computer with me, so I have to check it. So that'll be an updated clue if it even got him, if he even went that way. But I gotta figure that out later. But so we really just didn't know which way he went. You know, it's 80 degrees today. He's definitely no good right now for the meat. Would love to have him and wrap my tag around him. So I've been kind of just hanging back, getting stuff down around camp today, looking for buzzards to swarm in, and so far, nothing. So it's very disheartening when you make a shot like that on a deer and it looks so good. But I will say, you know, when I got down finally and was able to look at my arrow, I saw some of the stomach grit and what I thought to look like liver blood. So I backed out initially, and I didn't even attempt to look. I waited 4 hours just to even get a little bit of a scope of what kind of blood I was dealing with. And at first it was decent, and then it quickly dried and clotted. So it was rough, but we never found any blood past his first bed at 300, and I think I had it at 310 yards on Onyx. And I don't know, it hurts. That really sucks. I did not want this to go down this way. I'm still gonna do some more last ditch effort looking around some water. The weird thing was the deer took off in a direction completely opposite of water. Like all of our water, naturally, you go down the hills and we got a couple of ponds in the woods, good thick cover, and this deer is going uphill, you know, slightly, but he's staying up on top of this ridge top. And I don't know which way he turned. We don't know which way he turned. And we were out with the dog for about 6 hours, and we scoured over half of the place. So I'm just going to be checking some water holes around from here and see if he made it to some water where he finally died, or by miracle maybe he's still alive. But if a deer can survive a shot like that, kudos to him. They are tough critters. They are hard to kill, and what I'm finding more and more is the more mature they get, the harder they are to kill, the more their will to live. And I was actually talking with the tracker, and I was like, you know, it seems like when I was killing 2.5 and 3-year-olds, heck, they'd go 75 yards and curl up and they wouldn't want no more. These big boys, you know, they don't mess around. They have that energy, they have that adrenaline, and I'm sure it would be 10 times worse if we were in the middle of the rut. But here we are in late September, so it's a long season to go. Would love to have a chance to find this deer, but so far no luck. But I'm just gonna kind of hang out here the rest of the day, watch for buzzards, and we have been all through our place today, so I'm not even gonna try to hunt tonight or anything. And we'll go from there. But it's a disappointing story. You know, I called this deer Heartstopper, and it turned to be a heartbreaker. I hope to have another chance at him. I hope that he is alive. I hope he survived. The tracker was showing me some wild pictures of deer that were hit and lived, and you know, you look at it and you're just like, how is that deer still standing? So you know, you never really know. But he was a big homeboy on this farm, so you know, give him a couple weeks, see if he shows back up. I would think though infection will eventually get him. I don't see him making it through, at least with a hit like that. I don't see him making it through. I can't believe he went as far as he did with how he got hit, but I just had to have missed the vitals. That's all it comes down to. 21 years in the deer woods, and you know, you'll have that eventually. Everybody gets it, and it is what it is. So we're just gonna keep going and see if we can find him back later or connect some other way. Well, sorry to end the video in such doom and gloom, but it's reality. It happens. So I wish everybody out there good luck, and I wish and I pray that you don't have the luck that I just had to experience, because that stunk. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bonus, I decided to pull the chip from the camera. So I don't remember if I said this or not, but this is a little tidbit of extra information. So the last spot we found blood / the bed that we found of the buck that we tracked, that particular bed was 25 yards away from another trail camera that I had. So I pulled the card, I came home, I checked it because I forgot my laptop, so I couldn't do it up there. And lo and behold, he's on it. The time of 10:04. I shot this deer at 6:50. And if you look real close, you can see the hole in his side. So he was hit, and he got up, and again, that was the last blood. He spent 4 hours in that bed. So I think it's pretty neat to know that he got up and walked away, and this is where the dog more or less lost the trail. So I think hopefully we have an alive deer on our hands. It's a little too soon to tell. I'm gonna be checking my cameras like I do already, but really paying attention and looking for any signs that this guy is still around. So just a little tad bit of hope for the future, and hopefully he can survive. And I'm heading up next weekend and a couple weekends in a row to see if we can connect with the old Heartstopper.